Welcome to the world's fastest growing podcast that interviews random Todds and asks them unpredictable questions in a series of wacky segments.
Here at the Toddcast, we believe every Todd has a story, and we want to hear it. All right, welcome in everybody to another episode of the Toddcast. Today we have filmmaker and director Todd Felderstein. Find him on Instagram at Todd Makes Photos, and that's photos, F-O-T-O-S. Hey Todd, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for having me. This is quite an honor. So thank you so much.
Yeah, so we're going to jump right in and start learning a little bit more about you here, Todd, in our first segment.
Once Upon a Todd.
All right, so this is Once Upon a Todd. This is a time to tell the listeners who you are and what you want them to know about you. So the floor is yours, Todd.
Oh, my Lord. Once Upon a Todd is hilarious, by the way. Everything is really funny about this. So, wow, this is great. So what do your listeners want to know about me? Well, I'm originally I was raised in Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm an East Coaster as well.
Nice.
I came out here a while ago, came out to LA, and my ascent, I guess, hopefully it's an ascent to where I am today. I started out as a photographer and very much of a visual guy. However, I have lots of hyphens, way too many hyphens if you ask me, but lots of hyphens. And so it's photography. I direct theater, quite a bit of theater.
Oh, wow.
Nice. I'm also an editor. And obviously filmmaker, direct movies. I'm a writer. I've worked in television, worked in a lot in independent film. So hyphen. And I've even acted a handful of, I've acted a little bit, although I don't wear that hat very frequently anymore. So,
jack of all trades.
Well, yes and no. You know, everything sort of supports the whole director thing, but yes,
right.
Yes, jack of all trades. It's a little annoying. I have a little bit too many hyphens, but you know, along the way, you have to learn. And what happens is that, especially when you come up in entertainment and you say, "Look, I'm a director," and everybody says, "What have you done?" And your resume is very small. What you wind up doing is doing everything else. So, and you do it and you tend to get pretty good at it if you do it more and more. And then you suddenly get known as that. And then you go, well, no, this is not who I am and not really where I want to be. So you cut that cord and you do something else in order to go and work as a director. And then you realize you have to eat. And food is good. Yeah. And so you wind up doing something else. Or the other thing is that you can't afford to hire somebody else. It's like, oh, I can't afford to hire, whatever, a producer, an editor, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you figure it out along the way, and suddenly you're doing everybody else's projects. But then that's really what happens. I mean, this is a very much of a creative industry with lots of tentacles, and you need all those tentacles to really feed in to your main project. But if you if you can't afford those other arms or that support, then you learn how to do it yourself. And that's very much of what my background is. However, I'm very much of a visual guy. I'm a visual artist. I still teach photography every once in a while. I'm on staff with a school out here, a really wonderful photography school out here. So I do boutique classes, and I'm part of the actor studio as a director. And I'm happiest when I'm with a camera and directing. But I love theater. I love working with actors, and thankfully it's been doing all right for me.
Nice. Awesome. Sounds like you're a pretty busy man there.
Yeah.
These days, I mean, the strangest thing is with this pandemic, I've been incredibly busy. It hasn't stopped. So it's good. Yeah, it's good and it's odd at the same time, but I'll take it.
Right. So with the photography, what genre do you have a specialty genre? Are you like a landscapes, cities?
I started out in portraits. Yeah, so I started out in portraits, and then I did a lot of advertising work. So when I moved out here, I was working for a couple different ad agencies and a couple PR agencies, and I was their go-to guy. So I would go out and shoot their brochures or shoot their manuals or shoot their products. It was quite vast, but it was all based around PR and advertising agencies. And then I was doing a lot of portraits. And of course, it's LA. So I shot headshots and headshots and headshots and headshots forever and ever. But today you would say I'm more lifestyle and portraits. And lifestyle, the difference between lifestyle and say commercial is that you have a lot more smiles, typically in lifestyle. So when you start getting into fashion and into commercial work, people, trying to sell products. So it's a lot more geared towards products and less towards the person. And I'm more people oriented. So I bring out things in people. I bring out emotion. I bring out whatever, which is also a direct transition to my directing. So those two definitely overlap.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you? I know Michael was looking for headshots recently.
I'm going to do a screen. I'll do a screen capture right now, and you can use it.
Perfect. That'd be great. We need that. We're trying to put the Toddcast out there to everybody. So we need professional headshots, of course.
Oh, of course. It's the logical next step here.
Yes. You want a screen capture? I'll press the button.
He's a real pro.
There you go.
So what made you do the transition? I know you say you kind of started in the photography realm with like still photos.
Right.
I guess what was that step into filmmaking? And I guess what are some of the key differences from your perspective?
Oh, sure. Well, the obvious is still versus motion, but I'll tell you, the funniest thing is, and this was a while ago. So this was back in the 90s. So when I came out and I was talking to, I needed a job, and I would go to photo studios, very high-end photo studios, and I would say, look, I want to be an assistant. And they would say, okay, great. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'd say, directing movies. And they'd say, and they wouldn't necessarily, but that was very honest for me. And the funny thing is that today, if you were to say that, they'd say, okay, because today it's defined as still and motion. So if you look at a lot of photographers and you look at their websites or whatever else, they have a category for still work, and then they have a category for motion work. So it's very acceptable. But back when I was coming up, it was not acceptable. You were one or the other. So I sort of shot myself in the foot a little bit.
Due to technical difficulties, we lost Todd's microphone signal. So we had to restart the system and pick up here very naturally, of course.
Okay. So I started in photography, and I was one of the guys who as a kid, I always had a camera in my hand, and my parents had, the funny thing is my parents had wedding presents, which were camera gear, and they knew nothing about cameras. So I was the little kid who would pick up the cameras and the Polaroid cameras, and I was always running around the house shooting with a Polaroid, and then my first Pentax. And at the same time, they also had, they were given a Super 8 movie projector. Suddenly, I'm not 25, but a Super 8 movie projector and also a movie camera. So I was always running around shooting movies. Really as like a 5-year-old. And then the rest of the time I would go into the basement and rent. Oh my God, this is really going to tell you how old I am. And I would go to the library and rent Super 8 movies, the reels.
Oh, yeah.
And I would watch The Little Rascals and The Great Train Robbery. And I don't remember. I really don't remember the other ones. But I would project them on the wall and sit there and just watch movies. And that was my childhood. So, something was there, something sort of, and then coming out here. So what happened is I was looking for a job, and I would go to photo studios as an assistant, and I'd say, look, I want to learn from you guys. I want to be an assistant. And they would say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I would say, directing movies. And those two, even though that's widely acceptable today, it wasn't acceptable back in those days. So I wound up producing. I wound up starting from the ground up. I was a PA, production assistant. And I got coffee for some of the best of them, and then went from there to a assistant coordinator, to a coordinator, to a production manager, to a line producer, ultimately to a producer. So I did the whole route in indie film and commercials and trailers and all that stuff, all at the same time, directing lots of theater. and keeping my director hat, tightly in my back pocket, knowing this is really where I want to be. So I became very familiar with the set and editing. And then, film schools are so popular today. I'm not condoning them, but I'm not poo-pooing them either.
Yeah.
I wound up going to a film school out here, which was a community college that really allowed me just to jump in and make films. I didn't want to go through all the academia. I didn't want to go and get into the politics. I wanted to go to school and make film. So I got into one. It was inexpensive, and I started shooting movies, right away.
Sweet.
And it was the same one. It predates you guys, but if you know the Hughes brothers, I came in right as they were coming out. So they were, they were sort of the big and they went in at 20 years old. So they got a feature. They were like the Sundance darlings at 20 years old, and they popped out and they sort of exploded.
Wow.
I don't know if they've done anything recently. I think the last one they did it was a really cool movie. It's going to sound like every other one. A guy walking through the desert. Post-apocalyptic world.
I guess that gives me a question. What's one of the favorite scenes you've shot in so far in your career?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Juicy.
It's a really great question. I tell you, the funny thing is that with me, when I work with, I had someone ask me this question the other day, and because I do a lot of theater, and I created this online theater platform during the pandemic. And somebody said to me, when you're watching somebody else's play, do you wish you were directing it?
Huh.
And I said, no, but I do see beats that they miss, and I wish that they would hit those beats. And sometimes when I see my own productions, I go, ooh, there's a beat that I missed, or there's a beat that I missed. So that's one big thing. But as far as scenes, there's I did a bunch of collaborative films.
Okay.
You could do a whole podcast on those, but it's a collaborative film. There's multiple directors on them.
Yeah.
And I did one where my DP, my director of photography, happens to be David Fincher's lighting designer today. And we created this set where it was about a guy who was on death row. And it's a film called Last Statement. And he's giving his last statement before execution. And he's sitting in a warehouse, and he's surrounded by candles, and it's really gently lit. And it's a beautiful scene. It really is a beautiful scene. So
wow.
That's something that I really enjoyed.
Nice.
But I'm very moved by performances. So even though I have such a visual eye, when I can give a direction to an actor, if an actor comes in going left and I give them a direction where they go right, and that right is right, meaning that they are able to really blossom and really find something there, I love it. I mean, it's like Phil Jackson saying to Jordan, go this way, and then he goes and he scores.
Yeah.
That's just a great feeling. So I get a lot of feeling. I get my butterflies when I give a direction and they score. Quite honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
yeah. I got another question. Not to sound like a job interview, but I like doing I record music and I like doing audio. Yeah. So I guess and I know I fail a lot. So what's been the biggest failure you've had along the way, either in photography, filmmaking, and all that?
Sure. Well, if you do a shoot. If you do a shoot and it doesn't turn out the way you want it, don't hold on to it. So, and don't hold on to it. And what happened with me is that I did a shoot. It was a long time ago, and it was a calendar shoot, believe it or not. So I had this beautiful girl in my studio in a bikini, walking around, doing her thing, and the shoot was okay. It wasn't great, but it was only okay. And everything worked out, but it hit me really hard. And I held on to it for a long time, way too long, way too long. And, there's a perfectionist aspect to not that I do perfect work, but I really want to do my best. And when that doesn't happen, I hold on to it a little bit too long, and I can't really shake it loose. So, so that is one. I worked for Marvel Studios for a little while. And, I did Guardians of the Galaxy in editing as an assistant editor.
Awesome.
And I am a horrible assistant editor. Horrible. So that is one of my failures, and in that I'm just, the job of an assistant editor is to support your editor, and I don't think that way. I'm certainly organized, but I don't think that way. I'm sort of thinking story. I'm thinking, creatively. My brain's out there, and your job when you're an assistant, anything, is to support whoever you're supporting.
Yeah.
And my brain doesn't stop at that. I did it for a long time. I mean, as I was telling you, my various jobs, I was an assistant for a while. 25 years ago. And I have assisted wonderful, wonderful producers and studio heads and all the rest. And I learned a lot. And in that world, that was fine. But in this big machine of which, some of these big blockbusters are, that's just not. If I'm directing, that's one thing. But outside of that, my brain just doesn't. It refuses to go there. So,
wow.
That's it.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Oh, sure. Good question.
Well, that is going to roll us right on into the next segment.
What if Todd was one of us?
Yes.
That is so funny, by the way.
That is really funny. Well, the people have the question. Everyone thinks every day when they get in this crazy scenarios, they're like, what would Todd do in this situation?
Yeah.
So we bring that and we put it out to the people. So with this situation, we've all been there. The waiter hands you your food at a table. And they say, enjoy your meal. And your inherent response is, you too. Same goes with if you're at a movie theater and you get your popcorn and your snacks and they're like, enjoy your show. And you say, you too. So I know I always feel like an idiot in those situations where I tell them you too, and they're obviously not watching the movie. They're not eating. How do you recover from that? Or do you just take it in? What do you do in that situation? If you were to say you too, or,
In the back of my mind, my internal voice sometimes is much louder than my external voice. So my internal voice is going, "You idiot! Who cares?" Right. And my external voice is smiling. It's just like, oh, and then move on. Just move on. So as we discussed earlier, sometimes I hold on to things a little bit longer than need be. So. I try to let it go. Just let it go, let it flow, that kind of thing.
I need to take that advice because, 2 years and 3 days ago, I had this exact situation happen and I still think about it daily. And so I've done this I've done both in both of these situations. And I have, I guess, two kind of stories with it. Okay. The first one was with enjoy your meal. Mm-hmm. And the waiter told me that, and I said, you too. And then I pulled out the other chair next to me and tried to get them to sit down next to me. And I was just going to share my meal with them. They obviously did not accept. And I had a different waiter come to me afterwards, but still that's, I don't know. I guess
creeped out the waiter.
I guess that's not the right thing to do. And then with the movie, I did kind of the same thing. I invited them to come watch the movie with me. And once again, that did not work out. So I guess if I was a Todd, I would say don't invite the waiter or the movie theater cashier to come eat the food or watch a movie with you.
Unless,
would you do that?
There's an unless.
Ooh, yes.
Unless your waiter is a waitress. I'm still a bachelor, so if your waiter is a waitress and you have some kind of chemistry there, and she's willing to give up her job in order to go and dine with you, then I would say absolutely. And if the same goes with your cashier.
Yeah, that
so
happens.
If your cashier is, you never know. You never know.
That's true.
Love may be on the horizon.
I'm a bachelor as well, and I've had so many women just want to throw their careers away just to be with me. And it's nice to hear someone else have that rationale behind it, because some people think it's crazy, but it's just it's
never. It's because what would bread do?
It's what would bread do?
What would bread do?
Yes, yeah, so, everyone out there, I mean, I guess don't hold on to it. We all make this.
Don't hold
mistake,
on
I
to it.
guess.
Yes, exactly. I mean, my voice
have you
inside, I would say, "Boy, I'm such an idiot," or whatever. I'd
Yeah.
smile or say something, but move on. Just keep on moving on.
What about
Let
you,
it go.
Michael? Have you been in this situation?
Yeah, normally in these, I like to double down the awkwardness and just like kind of over explain why I said you two. And it just makes it worse. I'm like, well, now I feel awkward. So you're gonna, and they already probably felt awkward that I said it, but I just want to make sure that they also feel. So then we're just bonding together that way. And
So, like,
yeah,
I guess with the awkwardness brought up, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you, the responses I gave earlier, how would you rate my reactions on an awkward scale of 1 to 10?
talking to me or Todd?
Both of you. I need this advice to know how awkward that really was.
I would give it a 3. I mean,
it wasn't that awkward?
No,
I think that was a smooth recovery.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Well, okay. I was giving it way too many.
Yeah, you were really taking it home.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been dwelling on it for so long. I guess that's the right thing to do.
No, there are bigger fish out there.
According to Michael and Todd, that's the best thing to do. Probably is just invite your waiter or waitress to sit down with you, enjoy your meal, or your cashier to come watch the movie with you.
Or just let it go.
Or just let it go. Yes, and laugh it off. Find the humor in everything. Just find the humor. Laugh it off.
All right.
It's like when you're on the phone with somebody, and you know, there are all those automatic hello, how are you? And it's the same thing when you really don't want to know how these people are. You pick up the phone and you say, hey, how are you? It's like, why am I saying that? And it's the same thing at the end. You know, you finish up a call, typically if it's business, and you say, have a nice day, whatever. And sometimes you anticipate how people are going to end their call, and you answer it inappropriately because you say to them one thing, they say to you another, and you're completely in two different ballparks. And you're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
Same difference.
I guess with the have a nice day, has anyone ever checked up to see how your day really went after they told you to have a nice day?
That would be very funny. I like that.
Like, I told you to have a nice day. How has your day been?
Text
like periodic updates through the day. Yeah,
exactly. Just text me. Text me. Somebody should you should come up with that app, like a nice day app, just to say, I like this. So just to check in, how is your day going? And just, it can be a scale from 1 to 5. And if the day isn't going well enough, then you have to do something in order to goose their day.
Oh,
hey,
I like it.
Copyrighted.
Very altruist.
There we go.
Also could be a great way to get your phone number blocked from all your friends.
Yes.
That's true. But
like, why are you so interested in my day? Just every day. I don't want
Just tell me about your day. I'm a great friend.
Stay away from me.
I don't have my own life. I need yours.
How did you get this number?
Who are you? It's just like all the telemarketers that call you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
3 weeks later, you text the telemarketer like, "Hey," or your Uber driver. I really hope you've had a great day. Like,
that's funny.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Well, you know what else is funny, Brad?
It's time to prod Todd.
his face.
All right, you heard it here first. It's time to prod Todd. So this is not as intimidating. It's just a series of random questions.
I thought you said intimate.
The first question being, what is the last thing that you ate?
Oh, eggs.
Ooh,
Today
yum.
I had eggs. Yeah,
Yummy.
eggs and
Scrambled?
eggs.
Poached?
No, they were, well, it started out as an omelet, but they stuck to the pan. So it was 3 eggs, 1 yolk, 2 egg whites. And then I had some vegan sausages to go with my eggs.
Ooh.
So yes, that was it.
Yum.
Nice.
But
so
you
the
know
omelet
what?
turned into scrambled.
It was good. But you said the last thing was actually a vegan oatmeal cookie.
Ooh.
How was it?
It was very good. I went to the farmer's market today and picked up a vegan oatmeal cookie, and that was my big splurge. So that was the last thing that I ate.
So it's fresh.
Very fresh-ish.
Freshish.
But still $3 for a cookie is a lot for a cookie. But
that's the farmer's market for
it's
you.
a farmer's market.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
Well, yummy.
So, yes.
Yeah, this kind of rolls into the I guess the theme of the show. But what movie title best explains your life right now and why?
Ooh. Oh my God. This is going to be loaded, and you'll probably laugh. But
oh gosh.
but there's a book that I optioned, and it was made into a movie a long time ago, and it was called Way of the Peaceful Warrior, and by Dan Millman. If you've ever read the book or if you've ever seen the movie, I optioned it to turn into a musical, believe it or not, a play, and then all of a sudden theaters shut down because of the pandemic. So I'm sitting and waiting and sitting and waiting and sitting and waiting. But yeah, because I'm not a hateful guy. Let's put it that way. And
that's good.
But nonetheless, I tend to be a little bit of a workaholic and a little bit relentless. So you put those two things together. So I would go with that.
So peaceful warrior. I like it.
Peaceful warrior. Yes.
Do you have any?
Google it.
Yeah, I just Googled it up right now. I'm checking it out.
Okay.
Using my eyes to read. I'll probably keep that tab there until after the show.
Peaceful Warrior. I think the book is peacefulwarrior.com, and then my show is peacefulwarriormusical.com.
Ooh.
So you can do either one. There's a couple plugs.
All right. Nice. What about you, Michael? Do you have a movie title you can think of?
Dude, I don't know why I always think of School of Rock when I'm asked about movies. It's not appropriate for what this conversation is. I'm not over here with a bunch of kids rocking out. Just oh,
Michael has 32 kids in his room right now, and they're all playing guitar.
Oh no! It's taking a weird turn. Oh man, I don't know.
I mean, you have some pretty intense stuff going on in your life.
No, I got back pain right now. Is there a movie about back pain?
Really?
$1 Million Baby? Is it? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like everyone, I mean, I could be generic and say like Parasite. Oh, no, not Parasite. Just kidding. I keep mixing up Parasite with what's that one that is actually about a pandemic?
28 weeks later.
No. Man.
Are you talking about the one with Brad Pitt a long time ago?
Who's
the actor? Yeah,
I think it's
12
Brad
Monkeys.
Pitt.
12 Monkeys?
No. Oh, Contagion. That's what I'm thinking of.
Contagion. Yeah.
Steven Soderbergh. Okay.
I'm going to take the low hanging fruit there and say Contagion because of the world we're in, even though it's not that dire. It's either that or School of Rock. So there you go, Brad. What is yours?
Nowhere in between.
Put the two together. It's a musical.
That's a movie right there.
Let's do a musical about a pandemic.
Oh God.
School of Rock / Contagion. Online School of Rock, because you have to do virtual School of Rock now. Everyone's sitting at their computers at a Zoom meeting with their instrument.
Yes.
It just horribly all comes together. Just so out of time.
It would be great. It would put Hamilton in shame.
I'm already writing it down. That's it. There we go.
Just give us like a credit at the very end, maybe.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Brad, what is yours before I ask him the next question?
Oh, mine?
Yeah, what's your movie title?
I went golfing last week, so I would say Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that your swing?
Yes, it's my swing. I got in a fight with Bob Barker.
Really?
Yeah, it was. Shooter McGavin was there. It was a real weird situation.
Nice.
So yeah, it basically was Happy Gilmore actually. So
How was your game?
No, it wasn't great. I shot a 92. 92.
Really? That's not bad.
That's a respectable game in my books.
Yeah.
I did all right.
Did you wear the penguin
I have
shirt?
a lot of back pain. I did wear the penguin shirt actually. It's my lucky golf shirt and my lucky podcasting shirt. So
see, you could have said Caddyshack if you even know what Caddyshack is.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I haven't.
All right.
You rolling this along, Michael? You got another question?
Jeez, yeah, I do. All right, so
yes. Okay.
Yes.
His answer is yes.
This is a good one.
All right, so would you rather look very happy when sad things happen, or look very sad when good things happen?
No, I would rather look very happy when sad things happen, because I want to be happy when happy things happen.
That's
You
true.
know?
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
yes.
So okay, that's a good way to look at it.
Yes. I mean, I can't be sad when happy things happen. That's horrible.
Yeah, because you're sad when sad things happen still.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I would be. As long as I can keep the default of being happy when happy things happen, then I'll be. Yes, sure.
Okay.
I don't want to be
I think that makes
Pollyanna, but
sense. Yeah, I don't know how that's people are gonna be very upset at you, but at least they'll be like, maybe you're shining a light, maybe you're bringing the mood up for people and stuff. So I think
love
that's a good way to look at it.
You're going to find that Todd. Actually, I'm very curious about that. About this is that Todds tend to be kind people. There's something about Todd, the name Todd. Same with Scott. Todds and Scotts are sort of interchangeable. Like I'll get
these
Scott
names.
a lot. I'll get Scott. People say, "Hey, Scott." People who I've known for years, they'll go, "Scott." I'm like, "What?" And they'll say, "Oh, I don't know why they came up," but that happens all the time. If you ask Todd, if you ask another Todd, what name do you normally get called when it's not Todd? They'll say Scott.
We've heard that a couple times actually
Yes.
from some of the Todds. I wonder if that's the same with Scots. Do Scots get Todds?
Ooh.
Get Todded?
That's a good question. Very good
Get
question.
Todded.
Get
I'll have to-
Todded. Get Todded.
we
I
have
like
to-
that verb. You've been Todded. You've been Todded. That's good.
You've been Todded.
You've been Todded. Very nice.
Oh man. Oh, so what's your opinion on the 5-second rule for food?
Oh, no. That's way too short.
It's way too short. Oh,
It's way too short. So,
3-day rule.
well, maybe not. Maybe not. But I would go up to about 15 seconds. I'm not a 5-second person. I would say 15 seconds is good.
Do you have like a deviation? Like, can you go 3 seconds over, or are you like strictly at 15? Like at 16 seconds, the germs are just like just
It depends on the food. It depends on the
Okay.
food. If the food is mushy and is like being absorbed into the floor, then
mashed potatoes.
then I rule that out. But if it's something that's a little bit harder and almost bounces off the floor, then I think we're good to go. Because I look at that shell. Yes.
Let's say, what would be a good example?
Jello.
Mashed potatoes was very good. So if it's mashed
potatoes.
If a mashed potato hits the floor, 3 seconds, I'm going to stick to it. But if it's a jelly bean, jelly bean could be
there for months.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
That thing's got a like protective shell on the outside of it. You're good.
No problem.
You find it under the couch when you're moving out of your apartment. You're like, oh, jelly bean. It's still good.
Still
like
good,
it's perfect.
Yes, jelly beans, grapes. You're washing grapes in the sink. One escapes and hits the floor. You're like, it's okay. We're back. So,
now, does it matter like what part of the floor? Because like if it rolls under like the little cabinet, cabinet area where like it seems dusty, or if it's in the middle of the floor.
No,
I guess that kind of brings it.
Yeah.
Like if
it's hidden, if it's going into some nether region where it's dark and dusty, I would almost say let's leave it for the next generation of people who are going to this place. Yes.
So like if you drop it as a grape and you find it as a raisin, do you still eat it? Because now it's a different food completely.
It depends on how long it's been since I've made a movie.
Does the rule apply?
If I haven't worked in a really long time, then I eat it. And, yes.
Yeah, I guess the condition of the floor matters too, because like hardwood versus a carpet, or like if you're in like a parking lot, of course you're not going to eat your
lot.
Like,
yes, if you
drop my
yogurt,
mashed potatoes,
my
yogurt,
your yogurt. If you're walking out of a supermarket and you drop your yogurt, I wouldn't scoop the yogurt back into the can and go into the jar and go, life is good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're good.
I think that yogurt would be retired.
That makes sense.
Yes.
I think this might be a good question to post and have people get some feedback on. I
like it.
Yeah. There's a lot going on here because we have 2 dogs, and that's always a rule I look for. I look for the hairs Because like we could have just cleaned. It could be like a super clean surface,
Right.
but those hairs, I mean, they just stick around.
Well-
I don't know.
Well, like
Makes sense.
mashed potatoes, if
Yeah.
it falls on the floor, like you can take like the 2/3 of that and keep the bottom third there, and you're
Oh, this
good.
is true.
It's got a protective layer there.
Right.
Like you leave a third of the potatoes, but you still get potatoes
Brad, how often do you eat mashed potatoes?
It sounds like too
off
much.
the floor, or
Just in general, when was the last time you had mashed potatoes?
it's been more than it was actually like 4 days ago.
Well,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
still
that-
on your brain. You've got
But,
mashed potatoes.
before that, it's probably been like a year. So
Oh wow.
I'm not a big potato man.
I haven't had a mashed potato in a really long time, but
Well,
now I'm jonesing for some mashed potatoes. So
yeah, just
Yeah,
don't
so-
drop them.
I will not. After this, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to the store and start mashing potatoes. Probably while I'm still
In the store, they're gonna be like,
Out in the parking lot. Just
this
Exactly.
you get kicked out of the store. There's a guy over here punching all the potatoes. Get
with his
him out
bare
of here.
hands and mashing them.
What's going on? He's walking around the produce aisle with a potato masher. Did he pay for that?
He's a madman.
No. That's craziness.
All right, so that's your opinion on the 5-second rule.
Yes. Yes. Good question.
So, what is something that we do not have a disposable version of, but we should?
A disposable version of that we should. We do not have a disposable. Let me think. Wow. Off the top of my head, I have no idea. A disposable.
Lamp.
A disposable lamp. I think you bring up a great point. I think our whole life is disposable. I think everything we have today is disposable. That's one of the reasons we're in this mess.
What defines something as disposable? 'Cause you can dispose of anything.
Pretty much.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say we needed. I mean, I could say a disposable. Hey, there's a fly in here suddenly, or a bee.
Disposable
fly.
Disposable insects.
Disposable insects. I think. I have no idea. That's our big issue. Is we have a world of everything is disposable. So everything's. I don't want to get environmental on you guys. But
my first thought for some reason was toilets, but like I don't know why you would need a disposable toilet.
Ooh.
Like they're doing fine being permanent. They're doing great unless you're like out and about.
Yeah.
And you don't have a toilet.
It's like a quick
and you
build
just like
toilet.
you pop it up. Pop it up,
but
and it's biodegradable.
I would imagine that.
I don't know how
that exists. I would imagine
it
probably should.
Yes. Yeah. I would imagine there's some kind of camper thing where you set it up and then press a button and everything collapses on itself and then you're good to go.
Or like the pants that you turn into a chair that you can sit down in your pants. They have like instead of it turning into a chair, it turns into a toilet.
Like that. Wow. I like that. That's amazing.
I'm wearing my pants
my
/ toilet today.
Wow, that's incredible. Does that really exist?
I think so.
I think I've seen it.
That's great.
I'm sure someone's been on Shark Tank with it or something.
That's funny.
Disposable bongos, maybe. I don't know. Just that's a tough question.
It's probably with the pandemic, I would say disposable mouthpieces for musical instruments.
Ooh.
So you can go and play, and then you just take your mouthpiece and throw it away. It's like I grew up as a trumpet player, so disposable mouth. You play, take that mouthpiece, toss it, have something new that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. How's that?
Fair enough.
Okay.
I like it. Brad, you're on mute. You muted yourself. I don't know how. Don't know why.
I don't know how, but for some reason, I was not thinking of woodwind instruments, and I was thinking of why would you need a disposable mouthpiece for your like? I'm playing guitar. I need this disposable mouthpiece.
Some mouth guard.
just so I don't grind my teeth.
Yes.
No, that's a pretty. I mean, I think like we said, what defines something as disposable?
I know.
So, I mean, everything is disposable. Sadly,
everything. I know.
Soapboxing here. So I guess we'll just round this out with one of probably the best questions I've ever asked anybody.
Yes.
What qualities make you believe a walrus would be a great attorney?
A walrus would be a great attorney.
So,
because
like,
in the cartoons, you usually have the walrus who's very intelligent. It's because of their whiskers and their big teeth, that big tusk. They look very, they look very intelligent. They look like something you would go to for advice.
I think of that every time I see a walrus. I mean, I've seen like 3 of them, but I'm like, I feel like I need advice from this guy.
Yes. Yes.
He knows what's good.
Yeah. I think they're strong arguers too. I think they really fight for what they believe in.
I've never seen one that has lost an argument.
How would penguins be as attorneys though?
Ooh.
They look like they're dressed for the part. So that's all.
They're dressed for it, but
they're dressed for success. Without a doubt.
What is another animal that would make a great attorney?
I
to
would,
defend you in like
an elephant.
Now, I can see that.
Yeah, an elephant.
It's the tusk. Tusk really.
That's sure, and they're also
big tusk energy.
You look into the eyes of an elephant; they just seem to know. Really,
can you look in both of the eyes of an elephant, or can you only look at one at one time?
I think you could have to do one and then jump to the other side, and one.
Unless you're like far. You're far enough away and you can see both, but like I think
that's
they're on
true.
Opposite sides, I guess. I don't know.
They are. Yeah, they are. I sort of agree.
So they do seem trustworthy though. So
they do. Again, I've never known an elephant to lie. So
if what would happen if one attorney, there was a court case, and one person's attorney was an elephant and the other one's was a walrus? Who would win?
That would be a good matchup. That would really. I would go. Hopefully, it'd be a good case, and the elephant was on the side of right, because I would really go for the elephant.
pulling for the elephant, huh?
I am pulling for the elephant. I have a thing for woolly mammoths, so all the same family. We're good to go.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, in our lifetime, we'll probably see this happen. So this question will be answered.
I'll be looking out, and when it does happen, I'm going to call you guys.
Yes.
Just to say you were right.
You have anything else to add there, Michael, or has he been thoroughly prodded?
If I'm thoroughly prodded,
I believe we are done prodding Todd. On to the next segment.
That's odd, Todd.
As if the last segment was not odd enough, we are going to roll into That's Odd, Todd. This is where we will ask you about the 2 truths and 1 lie. And if you have those ready, go ahead and spout them off. And Michael and I will try to decipher it.
All right, here we go. I am in the Guinness Book of World Records. I took a year off after college to sail around the world. And I used to run triathlons.
Oh, goodness gracious. See, 2 of those could be intertwined. Right. You might be in the Guinness World Records for the triathlons. And you said you sailed across the world. I know, yeah. I mean, some of these could be intertwined. Sailing the world. The entire world. Is that what you said?
Or
I did say the world.
Yes.
The world. Mm-hmm. Every square inch of the ocean is what I'm hearing.
Holy cow.
This is tough. I don't know. Appears to be in shape.
Seems so.
You have to be in shape to do probably almost any of those things.
Yes.
Except for the Guinness. I mean, that could be anything.
Well, you can,
quite literally.
Yeah, you can. There's so many things that you could be in the world record book for.
I wish we could ask why or what, but.
Well, we can find that out once you answer your.
Yeah, once the truth is revealed or the lie is revealed.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I can see you as a sailing man. I can see you as a triathlon man. I can also see you in the world record book, so I have no idea.
That is my final answer. I have no idea. You know, I'm gonna go with the sailing one.
That was that was where I was leaning towards because
That's the lie.
it depends on what he sailed in. I don't know.
The
I don't know what
world.
my
I
argument
mean,
is.
that's
Yes.
intense.
Yeah, like the world is
I
a
don't-
big place.
He's a busy guy. He's got movies to make. He's got photos to shoot. Does he have time to sail the world? I don't know.
He had time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, I don't know when, don't know where. Obviously, the world.
I mean, I'm gonna shoot the world record one. I don't
Okay.
think you're in the world record book for some reason.
All right,
feel
so
bad
we're
for-
locking in our answers there.
Unfortunately.
Michael, you are correct.
Dang it!
As always,
This is how.
what's new?
You are correct.
Nothing.
You are correct.
Did not sail the world.
Okay.
I
Too
did
busy
not
of a
sail-
man.
Did not
Oh, yeah.
sail. Yes.
Tell us what
Oh,
you're in
the
the
Guinness
book
thing.
for.
So,
Yeah.
so I mentioned earlier that I did these collaborative films. So there is a film that I did called The Owner. I've done 3. The Last Statement, The Owner, and then The Backpack. And The Owner, I think The Backpack and The Owner, I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most directors on a feature film. So
Oh, nice.
I was one
Oh,
of
what in the world?
25 directors.
Whoa,
One of 25
pretty-
directors who actually made a movie.
that's a lot of
And
direction.
It's a lot of direction, believe me.
So
But yes, we knocked out a film that I think had 20 directors that
Mhm.
was done by Joel and Ethan Cohen.
Okay.
Oh,
it
nice.
was-
That's
it
cool.
was pretty cool. Yes, but
yeah,
today, who knows? I mean, this was a few years ago. So yeah, that was it.
directathon.
Directors, most
Yeah.
directors on a feature
Directathon.
film. A director-thon. Yes.
And then you
I
said the
know,
triathlon, or you say
Triathlons.
triathlons?
So, yeah, so I did
Oh.
I did tries
With a Z.
after with a Z. I did triathlons in when I got out of college. So
Oh, wow.
for about 3 years. So I did
Oh, wow.
five
Oh.
of them.
What was your favorite
nice.
event of the 3?
Biking.
Biking.
Yeah,
Yep.
biking. Biking's great. That swim is a bear. And
Yeah.
then running, you sort of get used to it.
Yeah.
But biking, definitely biking. I'm built as a biker, and
Mm-hmm.
that was great.
Nice.
So it's good times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever sailed?
Yes. Yeah, I used
Okay.
to sail.
Okay.
So that
Not
is
the
true
world.
story. Not the
Yeah.
world.
Do you,
But,
do you plan on it?
Ooh, yeah.
No,
Oh.
because I'll tell you why. Because years ago, I was hired as a camera person to shoot a relay race. There's an island that's 26 miles off the coast of Santa Monica called Catalina Island.
Uh-huh.
And they had a relay race for, I think, multiple sclerosis. And they had however many dozens of swimmers that literally swam the channel. So they swam 26 miles from the island to the beach of Santa Monica. And I was one of the guys in the boat with a camera, little boat, filming these guys as they were swimming. And we started at night. We started at like 3:00 in the morning. And then the fog rolled in. And we're in the channel where these large ships come, all the whatever they're called.
Cargo.
The
and-
cargo ships, yeah. And I sat there and I went, this is not my world. I am not indigenous to the ocean. If I fell overboard, I'm fish food. That's it. So I gained a whole new respect for the water, for the ocean.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I used to sail all the time and we did all these crazy things. And
Yeah.
for some reason now I'm like, you know what? Not my world.
Yep.
So I
See,
don't know
like-
what's below me. I don't know what's looking up going, dinner.
Yeah. And see, like, not being a sailing man, I would really love to do that, like just sail across like the world, but I don't know how that feeling would be. Like, I mean, I've been out in the middle of the Atlantic on like a ship before, and it's weird being out there with nothing around. Like, you can't see land, you
Exactly.
can't see anything. I could not imagine that being on like a tiny sailboat with like just myself.
Yeah, I don't
It
want
would be.
to
It would be
imagine that.
very uncomfortable. I don't think it would be
Right.
very comfortable. You
I,
feel so susceptible to everything.
I just don't think that's how I'm wired. As much as I love sailing and the wind and it's all wonderful.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see the shore, and I'd rather be stuck in the desert. Quite honestly, I'd rather be going, man, it's hot and I'm stuck in the desert, but at least I know I'm here. I know it's under my feet, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
well, right. Because like if you're in the middle of the ocean, basically you're in a water desert.
That's
basically
right.
The equivalent of the sun exposure and everything is the same.
Yes.
So you might as well be on the land, not surrounded. I guess you have to watch out for scorpions and stuff in the desert.
That's true.
And cacti.
You got to watch out for everything.
Sneak up on
no
you.
matter what. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So cool.
That
was pretty interesting. Thanks for taking us on that exhilarating ride.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a pleasure winning as always. All right, on to the next segment.
In Todd, we trust.
Okay.
I always think it's such a weird contrast that we have him lie to us initially, and then our next segment is trusting him.
Oh yeah, it's a logical progression here,
right? It's logical.
Yeah. So this is in Todd we trust. Well, I trust him because I'm able to read him well, unlike you. So you may not be able to read anything. Anyway, so
I may not be able to read anything.
Remember, Todd,
I don't.
Todd's are honest. Todd's are kind and honest, so you have to do that.
Yeah,
it's true.
So I guess what's one piece of advice that you'd like to leave the listeners, or as we call them, the Todd Squad?
I love the Todd Squad. I would say be persistent. Just be persistent. Don't take no for an answer. And I mean, if you really feel it, then you have to keep going no matter what. And put in the work. Don't look for shortcuts. Put in the work. So
I like it.
Yeah, it's not about. I mean, crossing the finish line is great, but it's really that race is pretty awesome. And you'll certainly have wonderful peaks and horrible valleys, but learn from it. And I'm pretty darn optimistic, even on the most difficult day. So I would say just keep going and learn from everything. Learn, never stop.
I love it. Yeah. I like how you kind of mentioned don't obsess over that final outcome.
No,
just fall in love with that process, fall in love with the journey, persist, and learn along the way. I love it.
That's it.
That's definitely something I think everybody does things and they always want to end it, but you don't appreciate what you're doing in the moment.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, there's a big thing. Today there's especially with all the startups and entrepreneurs, and you always have you have an exit strategy per se. But, on the one hand, have your exit strategy if that's what you want, but learn from that and don't look just to cash out. I mean, really enjoy and have a big takeaway. That's a lot more than financial.
Exactly.
Really, certainly.
Not everything has to be financial.
Yes.
There's a lot of extracurricular feelings you can get out of things.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's a big world, and there's a lot of takeaways. So don't just worry about one thing, do it and then move on. I mean, that's when you become that's when you get too many hyphens. What's the expression? Master of something.
Jack of all trades, master
trades.
of none.
Something like that.
Is that
you want to be, not that you want to specify, but you really want to gather as much information, as much knowledge, and really enjoy the process. You just don't. It's not about getting in and getting out.
Yeah.
That's not what it is. So unless you're really in the wrong place, then make a decision. Make decisions. Definitely make decisions.
I like that. Act, react, and course correct, and keep going.
Yeah, just remember.
Nice.
Yeah, if you don't make a decision, somebody else will make it for you. And
that's true.
That's nod worthy right there.
Yes.
It's time to give a nod to Todd.
Tip of the old hat.
Yes. Accept these
Nice.
nods,
Wow.
Todd.
I will take it. My first Todd nod. That was wonderful.
First of many, I can assure you. So
I hope so.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a great time. Thanks for taking the time out.
Oh, likewise.
Joining us. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Hey, if I could give one plug, one thing that we didn't bring in.
Yep.
We didn't
Plug
talk
it
about.
up.
So one plug is when the whole pandemic started, and I mentioned that I have a big theater background, is I started something called Smartphone Theater and smartphonetheater.com. And every Friday at 5:00, we do, it's a combination between a reading and a performance. And I have actors and playwrights from Broadway to Hollywood, and they all come in and they do new productions, new plays. So we started, and this is one of the reasons why I've been so busy, is we started literally March 27th. And I've had a show every week except for one. I took one weekend off. And it's been great. It's been fantastic. The original impetus was just because I have a wonderful creative community. It was all about just keeping everybody busy, keeping everybody working and doing the thing.
Yeah.
Actors act, writers write, directors direct. And that's really what it was. But now it's grown, and we have audiences from, weekly audiences from 50 to 150 people.
Nice.
And
Awesome.
which is great. And yesterday we did a book reading from the director of Mork and Mindy and Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, wow.
It was just awesome. It was fantastic. That's my big shout out. That's my big shout out. Yeah, this has been a little baby that I've been keeping going, since March 27th. And we're just going to keep it up, and that's it. So smartphonetheater.com, people come Fridays at 5. Fridays at 5 Pacific time.
Okay.
So for you people on
Awesome.
the East Coast, it's 8:00. And
Nice.
you may recognize some of the people on screen from some of your favorite shows. And there you have it.
Cool.
That
Is that
is awesome.
theater spelt ER, or is it the fancy like RE?
RE.
I own both websites, actually.
Ah, well, there you go.
One goes
Smart.
there because
Playing it smartly.
So either or.
Either or.
Smart.
Yes. So it's RE
Yeah.
or ER, and they all go to the same place.
Nice. Okay.
And
Yeah.
we do have a section on the website called Episodes, which has all of our previous episodes. So if you want to catch up on anything, then you can certainly do that. So
Yeah, I'm browsing through right now. It looks awesome.
Oh, cool. In fact,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we did a full length, and I had an amazing cast. And the actor who played our grandfather was a very recognizable guy. If you're a Seinfeld fan, he's on Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the cast was terrific from soup to nuts. But we've had, great people throughout. So Brad's checking it out.
That's
Yeah.
super cool. I like that a lot. And everybody out there, make sure you check that out. We'll plug the website into the description when the podcast is
Great. Thank you
in the
so
podcast.
much.
So
Cool.
and thank you again, and everybody
It's
out
been a
there.
pleasure.
In addition to checking out the website, smartphonetheater.com, go ahead and check him out on Instagram at Todd Makes Photos, and that's photos Photos.
Yeah, that's actually my initials, TMF. So that's why it's photos with an F.
Ooh,
Ah.
I see it.
There you go.
This guy.
This guy's all over it.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Well, I like it. I dig it. Yeah, and while you're on Instagram following Todd, go ahead and head over to the Toddcast Pod. Go ahead and follow us and subscribe wherever you can find podcasts. Drop a 5-star review to show some love to the Todds of the world. If you're a Todd or know any Todds, slide into our DMs at the Toddcast Pod or email us at thetodcastpod@gmail.com.
All right. And with that, I'm Michael.
I'm Bread.
And
I'm
he's Todd.
And he's
Yes,
Todd.
This has been great. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.